What do you want me to say?
Street school, Grandma.
Street school.
Rice, what up?
What's going on with you, man?
How you doing, man?
Man, it's just another day, man.
You hear him? They hear the hey, man.
Yep.
What up, though, man?
Man, you tell me. What's your Sunday like?
Oh, man. We got a bye week, and I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm doing pretty good, man.
Well, you know, we center stage. We on the night, 8 o'clock.
Who you rocking with?
Man, you know I'm Jets. Your pop's going to be mad, but hey, he going to understand.
Oh, man.
So you make sure you shout that out to him that when we put that thing on tonight.
That y'all playing the Steelers?
Yeah, we got the Steelers, 8 o'clock, prime time.
That's crazy, man. You know, before we get this started, man, you know, we talking about football, man. I heard through the grapevine that you had to put your foot down in your own household. You ain't playing that.
What I'm gonna tell you, man, that can't share the same bed with an opponent, man.
Was that just this week, or was that?
Nah, it was like that when the announcement was made. Cause like my Jets was losing, so she like, I'm gonna find me another team. And you know, black head coach. That's the first thing caught her eye. Was, hey, I'm supporting the black coach. I was like, hey, you might be supporting the black coach, but you ain't gonna do it in this house.
Yeah, shout out.
You know, so we tripped out and laughed about that. But you know what I'm saying? That's still her team, but because we're a union, we try to do stuff together. So she wrote it out with me. She dried my tears when we lose.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her.
Yes,
all right, man. So welcome to the Bigg Homie podcast.
Appreciate it, man. Glad to be a guest.
Man, I'm glad you was able to make it, and I'm glad you came.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
For real, man. Before we get started, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Rice. And I just go by Rice. You know, a lot of people ask me, what's your first name, this and that. I just go by Rice, and it's a history to it, but I keep it separate. But I'm a barber down in Kannapolis at Clipper Talk, partner, Tony Rucker. And I'm a husband, a father, and I try to be a mentor to whoever listens. Because, you know, I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of things, and if I can help a man get to the next phase or get out of a corner he shouldn't be in, my door's always open and I'm always available. So that's pretty much in a nutshell who I am. Originally from South Carolina. Spent some time, you and I both share some time in Germany together. But other than that, moved to North Carolina about 14, 15 years ago. And as far as I'm concerned, wouldn't be nowhere else.
That's what's up, man. So I previously interviewed your partner, you know what I'm saying, T-Ruck.
Yes, sir.
He disclosed to me that you guys started off as R&R before Clipper Talk.
And I was telling him he was gonna get us hit by Rolls Royce because they R&R. But we can't get hit by the big wigs.
I can't afford that. Right. Rolls Royce crazy.
Yeah, trying to tell you. So we switched it up a little bit and made it more, people understood it was Rice and Ruck. Because first time he put the a label on the door, somebody came in and they was like, hey man, you know there's Rolls Royce. You know, I played it off. I'm like, nah, I like Bentleys. And so we just took it from there.
So, you know, is that what ultimately led to you guys becoming Clipper Talk?
Well, the thing about me, man, like I try to everything I do. I try to entangle my whole life, my beliefs, and everything in it. So Clipper Talk, it was a lot of. I'm not from the area, so I didn't know the barbers in the area. But like, it started when we was at Boston's before we got R&R, and people would call and play on the phone, and they would, somebody set up an ad acting like we was doing $10 haircuts, and people coming in wanting $10 haircuts because of the ad that was on one of those websites, Groupon, I think it was. And so,
Somebody set up a fake ad.
bro, we went. I didn't even know the people. Me and Tony had been working together maybe 2 months, and we grew clientele quick. And I don't know if the word got out or what was being said or whatever, but we just started getting crazy phone calls, and then the Groupon thing happened. And so, Tony, he calm and cool, but certain things put him in red. So I was just, I rather think my way through. My hands the last thing I want to use. I try to avoid everything that I can until it has to happen. So I'm telling him, I'm like, look, bro, it ain't affecting business. The only thing they doing, I said, people do stuff like that. If they whispering about you, they talking about you, that's advertising. So, bro, let them advertise. I was like, so all we got to do is let these Clippers talk, that. And so it wasn't a conversation we had per se, but it was the expression in the conversation. What we were saying was like, let these Clippers talk. Because I was like, don't worry about it. So when we got R&R, ended up leaving Boston's and started our own in a suite. And so in the suites, that's where, we was trying to figure out a name because we didn't want to take R&R to our own shop because that was just something to separate us while we was at the suite. So we wanted something to really separate us. So we took it back to that conversation. And so I'm thinking, he thinking. So I was just like, hey, man, to just shut everybody up, let's just let these Clippers talk. And we ran with that theme. And I changed the spelling of it because, with my beliefs, I always throw Yahweh in everything I do because I feel like if I do it, He gonna bless it.
Huh, that's interesting because I told him, yeah, I told Rook that y'all spelled together. so,
Yeah.
so maybe so I want to stand corrected, man. Please explain to me why you spelled it the way you spelled it.
Yeah, like clipper that, like I took the clip. I didn't want to spell it, the regular way anyway. I always try to throw my own
Yeah,
spelling
just
on
a little
something.
sauce.
Right. So with the R, that's short, our people originally, we named all the names had Yahweh in it, But the English tongue we say David, but it's really David. You know what I'm saying? So like we always put R and way in everything. It was one or the other or both. So I just took the R, clip R, that comes from Yahweh. And that's where I came up with the title Clipper Talk.
That's dope. That's dope. Okay, so where did the idea for the podcast come? Did that come before, during, or after you guys had the
It
establishment?
What was crazy, it happened. I had no intention of doing Clipper Talk whatsoever.
That's what I, not to cut you off, but that's what surprised me the most is because I always had, because of the name, because of the brand, and because you guys are doing a podcast, I always had the perspective that you guys did that with intention.
Nah, I'm talking about the Clipper Talk was just a message to all the barbers. Like, y'all can say what you want to say. We're going to let these Clippers talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I argue? You know what I'm saying? If we doing the work, you put the Clippers to the head. And if you doing better work than me, you get the man. But if I'm doing better work, I get the man. So it was kind of like an old West dude for me. Just get your Clippers out. But I guess the brand, I was thinking one way, but it became universal because like when clients would come in, the conversations we have, the conversations are lifelike.
Barbershop talk.
Right. Barbershop talk, lifelike. And, like if it's something going on in our community, we address it. If it's something going on in the media, we have a collective conversation about it. So, over the course of time having them conversations, people would come in, they'd be like, man, y'all need to start a podcast. Y'all wasting time. Y'all, this information need to get out. So I'm like, I'm still listening. I'm like, man, people are always trying to boost you up, try to get you out there, then they leave you sinking. But then I was, so then, you and I had conversations.
Yeah,
and Starkham, the gentleman who we had conversations. And so we just did a test run, and when we did the test run, sending out to a few people just to see, and people were like, "We love it." And while you in the moment, you don't really see it. And even now, I don't really see what all the buzz is because this is just it's just a normal day in the life. You know what I'm saying? But like if it's something that can help people and something that can help communities, man, I do it all day, every day.
Do you feel like it has been helping people in the community since you have been doing the
Various
podcast?
topics, man, I could say like that's why I try to make it community related or a situation that I feel like is holding us back or got our people trapped. And I can honestly say, man, like I had people that had reached in South Carolina who I knew. They hit me up. They was like, bro, I never thought about it that way. And then the one that we did about the mental health, I was really surprised because like I didn't even know this one guy was even listening to the podcast. And he came in and he was like, bro, this is what my girlfriend's going through. It's a gentleman from Charleston. His name Rico. And so Rico was like, bro, I'm trying to get my girl to listen to it because what y'all was talking about is what she need. People don't understand that your mental health not only affect the people around you, but it affects your health. And it let me know he really listened to the podcast. And he was like, this is what people need to know. Like your mental health is everything. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And but that's it's a situation like that where I'm like, wow, what I'm saying? We really doing something that could change things. It really matters.
That's what's up. So now that I got you here, right, on the Bigg Homie podcast, one of the first things, what I'm saying, formal questions, because the subject today is how small businesses affect the community.
Yes, sir.
But before we get started on this subject, I always like to ask a question. And it is, this is generally for the Bigg Homie podcast. So I'm going to ask, what is your definition of a big homie?
My definition of a big homie is somebody who look out for you, somebody who got your best interest, and somebody who can mentor you in whatever endeavor you diving in. He got the knowledge to help you be the best that you can be at it, and he's gonna be there for you every step of the way.
Do you view yourself as a big homie?
I view myself not really, and the reason I don't is because like I try to dodge. I don't want to make a mistake in somebody's life, and so for me to have total control over somebody's life, to me, like with my kids, I micromanage in a way with them, and you can't micromanage another adult. I just want to be that person that if you need me, I'll be there. If that makes sense.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. So, with you being a barber, right?
Yes, sir.
Small business. How do you think you affect your community?
I want. I think I have a positive effect on the community. That's what I want to have. I want. Believe it or not, man. I tell pastors. Some of them look at me like I'm crazy when I say it, but we see more people than he see, because like, and I can have a greater effect on people than he can, because everybody doesn't go to church, but at some point, everybody's gonna come to a barbershop, and so like I see young men from the from the crib till they get their own families themselves, and that time that we spend, I want to be effective with it. Like I see young men come in, and me and Tony, we can look at them. I've said this before, but we can look at them, bro, and you can tell if this young man's got a woman that his mother's raising him, and there's no father in the house, and he doesn't have a lot of contact with men because they come in real emotional. And like the young men who have men involved in their life, they come in, they're a little more rested, they're a little more settled. So that's just an example of the things that we can see as barbers. And knowing that this young man doesn't get male advice, I take that time to let him know, hey man, it's important, what I'm saying, that you put your emotions under control. It's important that you take leadership and you take ownership. It's important that you be responsible. Your mother shouldn't have to tell you to take the trash out. Your mother shouldn't have to tell you this, shouldn't have to tell you that. When you growing up, one day you're gonna be a man. These are small responsibilities that you need to take on now, because greater responsibilities are waiting. And if you can't handle these little things, then of course you're not gonna be able to handle life. So that's an opportunity that I get to pour into somebody's life from, you know what I'm saying, because the parents gonna keep bringing them in there throughout their youth. And hopefully if I can direct his life and get him on the right path and get him a good foundation to start life off, that's a relationship then I got. You know what I'm saying? Like you see it when you come in the shop. Like most people, it's relationships. It ain't just a haircut. Like we come in, everybody talking. Like we one big family. It's a family union.
When you building on those relationships, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, how effective do you think that is for the youth? Like, how do you think it's helpful? I mean, I know you think it's helpful, of course, you know what I'm saying, but how do you think it affects the youth?
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I've had experiences with the parent. Like the parent has come in without the child. It was like, bro, I appreciate it. He really doing his homework now. Or bro, I appreciate it. He done put that phone down and you know what I'm saying? Cause you know, one kid in particular, I was telling him like, you spending that time in the phone, your neck gonna, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be humpback before you're 14. And you know, and that little statement, the kid thought of, you know, he looked up. Then when he was in the chair, he looked up humpback, saw what it looked like. This kid, he went home and now he's interacting with his family again. He ain't just a phone freak. So it's those experiences, man, just pouring into kids. And sometimes, you know, we all been children. Your parents can tell you everything to do right, but you don't take it from them. Somebody else tell you the exact same thing. You act like they just gave you the golden key. So like just those type experiences and those interaction with the kids is pouring into the households. And I've got a lot of parents that say they appreciate it. And what's crazy, some of them start paying more than what I was asking, you know, and just for thanks, you know what I mean? So like you get I'm not doing it for the reward, but the rewards come, man, and I see it by pouring into these young men and some of them young ladies who get their haircut, pouring into them young ladies' lives. Because they take what me and Ruck say serious.
Um, why do you believe that is? You believe it's because you're their barber, and if they don't, you gonna mess them up.
I
Is it because you know what I'm saying? You think because I mean, is it a personality thing? Is it a what?
I think what it is, man, people look at your barber like, say for example, it depending on what line of work you in, image is everything. So like, what's crazy was like, the way we constructed the shop and the way that I carry myself and I dress. You know, like you have to look the part for our people. So like the youth, they come in and you know they see the sneakers or they see the gear and that there gives them, you know what I'm saying, like it's crazy, but that's what lock a lot of them in because they feel like, okay, he's relatable, he's an adult, but I can have fun with him, I can share things with him. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's really what triggered it all. Like the kids feel like we relatable. They, you know, it's an age difference and it's a major respect factor, but they feel like, you know what I'm saying, we relatable.
Well, let me ask you this: what are some of your best or favorite experiences that you have had being a barber, whether it was with the youth or with adults?
I'll say my most favorite, man, was that I'm gonna use three examples and it's gonna be three different situations. My first, and um he won't mind me using his name, but like I'm just gonna say K. It's we real good friends to this day. We didn't really know each other. We knew of each other, but we didn't really know each other till I started cutting his hair. And I've seen this young man go from being one way to like now. I'm like, he's blown my mind, the changes that he's made in his life. And I'm not knocking, I'm not saying that he was a bad person, nothing like that. Everybody else got their own. I view him totally different than everybody else because I know the man inside of the shell. So like this young man, well, he's a grown man now, but just that's what inspired me to keep doing what I was doing. Because me just being like a big brother to him or a close friend with him, man, I was there for him. And if I ever needed anything, he let me know that he was there for me. And like he come up to the house and interacted with my family. It's amazing to see the effects that you have on somebody. But that example with him saying our relationship, how he valued some of the things that I told him, and he put it to work, and his life changed. And like I'm gonna use some of the young men who used to be around my children, and these guys are professional athletes now, and it's three of them, Mr. Pat Williams, Leaky Black, and Wendell Wendell Moore. Now these young men, the experience with them was crazy because with them it's not about basketball. When I see these young men, we talking about life. Everybody else talks to them about basketball, but their whole life, I've been grooming it. I groomed them like, hey man, when you get your money, don't do like other people do. Don't go out here and floss. You think about your future. You get that first payday. Now, what I'm saying, you don't become a slave to the league. You got your bread. If you want to go a whole different way, you can go a whole different way because now you got that startup money that everybody's looking at. I always try to talk to them about money principles and about life versus, man, hey man, I saw you score 30 points last night, or I saw you. It was never about basketball. It was about keeping them in perspective and understanding that no matter what you do, you got to stay focused and you can't let the money run you. You got to run and control the money. So that, and then like I would say like now, there's two more people like Coach Kimball down in Miami. We built the relationship over COVID. Like I was cutting a couple players at UNC Charlotte. That's where he was at the time. And so he ended up taking a job in Miami as he does the recruiting, a lot of the heavy recruiting in North Carolina for the Hurricanes. So like the relationship he and I have is crazy because you wouldn't think that somebody of that stature would, what I'm saying, would talk to me about some of the things we talk about or stay in touch. Because most time people leave, man, it's over. And him and Chris Duhon are two people that I can attest to that are very level-headed, everyday men that and this is what it's like. This is what keeps me grounded because I see all walks of life. I have lawyers like there's Mr. Monir Abasad. Our relationship is crazy. He's I tease him all the time. He try to deny it, but I know he's a millionaire too. So being around people that's getting bread and seeing, like they want those people, man, they want to be everyday people. So that keeps me level because when somebody try to boost my head up, it's like, nah, it's about staying level headed. And that's what I'm learning from them. So in all three of those situations I gave you, these are situations where staying level and level headed, like from the streets to the penthouse, is like the whole secret to all of this, man, is staying level headed, thinking your way through, and never let a situation get too big for you.
That's what's up. Do you because I know a little bit about a few of the people you named, especially on the basketball side. Do you believe that their success stems from their upbringing? Because Leaky Black, Wendell Moore. The one thing I had the pleasure of meeting Wendell Moore at a basketball game I was doing some camera work at, and when we had a conversation, he was so well mannered and respectful that it surprised me at his stature in high school because he was, top 5 in high school. And he'd been that way for a long time. So when I met him, I kind of anticipated a bit more arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't greet me with that. It was he said yes sir to me. He towered over. He's like 6'10", 6'9".
Yeah, he's 6'5",
I be lying and
6'6".
telling people I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So whenever he was like, yes sir, no sir, and I'm not that old looking either. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it kind of surprised me a bit. Do you believe their upbringing has a lot to do with some of the successes they've been able to create for themselves?
I think in his case, I agree the upbringing is 100%. But in his case, man, I'm gonna be honest. The young man was born that way. Just to be honest with you, he's a very respectful young man, and I had the pleasure of meeting both his parents, they had a lot to do with the shaping and molding of him. But like he just always separated himself from the foolishness. Like I mean, like my son, when they went to school with him, they was like something crazy going on. One day I was like, man, don't even go over there. Like, why? He just that
And
type of kid. He just didn't. If it's foolish, He didn't want to nowhere near him, bro.
And beyond Wendell, I want to ask about the success of some of your other successful friends, because you said being level headed is a big key. Do you believe that? Because it's a certain sternness you have to have in business in order to be successful
Right.
as well, right?
Right.
Even on the basketball court, even in wherever your walk of life is, even in the barbershop.
Right.
At some point you have to be stern. So, like, if you could give advice to somebody that's watching who needs to understand the balance, how would you be able to describe that? Because we talk about Wendell being a great kid,
right,
until he on the basketball court.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And then he's still respectful and well mannered and all of that, but he's not. If you're not on his team, he's not that same kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with that being said, if you was to give advice how to create that balance when you're trying to create success as an entrepreneur, what would you say?
Okay. I'm gonna give you an example of a situation I had as a barber where I had this right here helped me put everything in perspective. I had a kid, he probably was 10, 11 years old. He comes in the shop. He waits. I had 2 clients in front of him. And I asked him how did his parents want his hair. And he was like, he gave me the type of haircut he wanted. So I cut his hair and he goes outside. And when he goes outside, he gets in the car. His mom walks him back in. She's like, I wanted him to get such and such and such and such. So I was like, at that moment, everybody in the room was expecting me, because I don't hold my tongue if it's something that I believe in it. And I don't hold my tongue if you come at me cross, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I knew everybody in the room was looking to see how I was going to handle this. Number one, it's a woman, and I wouldn't want anybody talking to my wife any kind of way. So I had to put everything in, in perspective. So I was like, I handled it. I was like, ma'am, a kid came in and told me how he wanted his hair. I didn't get any instructions. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get to stick a head in the door and tell me how to do his hair. And I cut it the way that the young man told him. I said, usually I deal with adults, but this time, I only had instructions from a child. I said, now, I apologize on my behalf of cutting it without, finding out exactly what the adult wanted, but I had other people waiting. So, I didn't know if you dropped him off. I didn't know if his stepdad dropped him off. I don't know how he got here. All I know is a kid came in and gave me instructions. So I handled it from that perspective, and it kept the situation where it was respectful, and she got my point without me having to get rude. So, from that, this example that I'm using it's about, you got to understand as an entrepreneur, when you step out that door, all eyes are on you. It's people that know you that you don't know. And so, like, everything that you do is under a microscope. And so, like, if you do something crazy in the community as an entrepreneur, it's going to affect your business because people are going to be skeptical. People don't want to be associated with people doing wrong things or in a traumatic event that takes place. So, as an entrepreneur, I would tell anybody wanting to be an entrepreneur, your character speaks volume. If you portray one way but yet you live another way, it will destroy your business. You won't be successful as a businessman or a businesswoman. It's all about character. It's all about how you carry yourself. It's about the respect that you have for your craft. It's the respect that you have for your client. And I would advise most people, don't get involved with being an entrepreneur just for money. Even though money is at the end of the day, money is what you need to take care of your family. Money is what you need.
It's a tool,
right? It's a tool, but don't let that tool separate you from the
your
interaction
character,
with the human beings.
right?
Like sometimes as entrepreneurs, we can price ourselves out the way so that you can't have that interaction with the human beings because they can't afford your service.
And last question about the entrepreneurship part.
Yes, sir.
What's some advice you would give to a person who don't necessarily have the character to be an entrepreneur but has all the hustle?
I would tell that person to find somebody you can trust and team up. you can be the brains, you can be everything behind the organization, and you got that person who can stand in front of the camera and do everything. We see it all the time. Like if you look at most successful businesses, there's two people involved, whether it's the husband or the wife. One of them is you have to, when you're in business, man, and you have a business mind, if you have the know-how, but you don't have the gift of gab, you got to get that gift of gab. You know what I'm saying? It's all about partnering up with what you lack is what you need. You know what I'm saying? So where you weak at, you want to get that person that's strong in that area.
And what about the people who have issues with control? Because it's easy to say, like, yeah, just go get somebody half of that shit.
Right. Yeah, well, I agree with you. Like, if you're a control freak and you want to be an entrepreneur, that ain't your business. You really need it, like being an entrepreneur, you can't be a control freak, because what you're going to do is create an environment where you're going to have people, it's going to be like what they call a revolving door. You're going to have people in and out of your business versus you having that stable network of people. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would advise anybody, the control freak, you might want to, before you become an entrepreneur, you gonna have to tone it down, because you cannot be a control freak and be a successful businessman. At least I put it to you like this: you have a bunch of people around you can't trust, because you know, and I know, once somebody gets on their feet, they'll take whatever. Some people will take whatever they got to take to get on their feet, and once they get on their feet, all that knowledge, all that time you poured into them to teach them your business or to teach them business, they're just gonna take that somewhere else and do something else with it. So, as a control freak, you can't be a control freak and be successful and not keep long-standing success. That's a better way to say it. You can be successful, but you won't keep that long-sustaining success.
So you believe that when you say that long-standing success, you believe that it takes a team even for a single entrepreneur?
Exactly. Like, the secret behind me, man, is like, I come home and sometimes my wife don't even want to talk about it, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. She might give me a response. I'll be like, geez, she didn't have to hit me so sharp. But I come home and I run stuff by my wife. And the reason I run it by it is because, number one, I always need two sets of eyes. And everything I do, like,
Keep you sharp.
right. And so, like, I see, like, say, for example, if you go to the mall by yourself and, you know what I'm saying, you're looking around, it's going to be some things you miss. But, like, you're going to, because you pay attention to certain details and you want to have somebody around you. You can't have somebody that do the exact same thing that you do. If you do, then you'll never get the full vision or the full version of something. So you gotta have somebody that see things from a different perspective than you see. So that gives you a better viewpoint. So like I always run ideas by my wife. And you know what I'm saying? I got a homeboy back home. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I might run an idea by him or he'll run an idea by me. It's just, man, you always gotta have somebody, man, that you don't want yes man. You want somebody to tell you, hey, bro, that's stupid. Or you want to have somebody say, hey, nah, you shouldn't do that. And then when they tell me I shouldn't do it, now you can point out to me where I went wrong. And that way I won't keep making that same mistake going forward.
Word.
What do you want me to say?
Street school, grandma.
Street school.